You know, I stopped believing in fairness a long time ago. The world was never fair, and it never will be. Some people start higher up the mountain. Better parents, better schools, better luck. And some of us start in the mud. But you can waste your life complaining about that, or you can learn how to make unfairness work for you. That's the real game. Finding unfair advantages that compound quietly over decades. Not luck, not privilege. I'm talking about temperament, discipline, and character. When I was young, I believed money fixed everything. Then I got money, and realized it only made my problems more expensive. Wealth doesn't change you. It reveals you. If you're foolish when you're broke, you'll be foolish when you're rich. Just with better furniture. If you're bitter when you're young, you'll be unbearable when you're old. Money doesn't fix character. It amplifies it. The older I got, the more I understood something nobody teaches you. Ignorance is the most expensive thing in the world. Not because it makes you poor, but because it makes you repeat the same mistakes again and again. Every time you skip learning, you sign a debt with your future self. Every time you act on emotion, you reset your progress to zero. The hidden cost of ignorance isn't money, it's time. And time, once spent, never comes back. When I was young, I chased every new thing. Tech, real estate, crypto, you name it. I called it diversification. But really, it was desperation wearing a suit. And then, one day, I realized I didn't need more options. I needed more clarity. That was the day I started winning. Because clarity is the first unfair advantage. It lets you see what others overlook. It turns noise into direction. Then I learned the second one, temperament. You see, success isn't about IQ. It's about EQ, emotional quiet. Temperament means staying calm when everyone else loses their mind. It's buying when others panic, and waiting when everyone rushes. In markets and in life, the patient always beat the impatient. The world rewards endurance, not brilliance. Because wealth doesn't belong to the smartest or the fastest. It belongs to those who can stay rational long enough to let compounding work. You don't beat the market, you survive it. And survival requires emotional discipline. Discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. It's waking up early when no one's watching, saving when you could spend, reading when you'd rather scroll. It's saying no to something good today to protect something great tomorrow. Most people think discipline limits freedom, but discipline is freedom, because it builds a life no one can take from you. The third unfair advantage is simple, but almost no one practices it anymore. The ability to start small. Everyone wants to begin at the finish line. But the truth is, small habits done daily beat big goals that never start. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need the courage to begin, even if it's messy. Compounding doesn't reward the biggest leap. It rewards the longest walk. Start small. Stay steady. And one day, you'll wake up surrounded by everything you once dreamed of. Over the years, I learned that peace is the ultimate profit. People trade peace for status, sanity for success, and don't realize what it costs until it's gone. Every decision, every deal, every dollar either buys you more peace or more noise. Choose wisely, because peace of mind is the highest ROI in life. Reputation is another hidden currency. You can't see it, but it pays daily dividends. Decades of integrity can do what $1 million can't. It opens doors that stay shut for everyone else. I once gave up a deal worth millions because it wasn't fair to a smaller partner. Years later, that same partner brought me opportunities I could have never bought. That's how character compounds. Slowly, silently, powerfully. Reputation is built in private, tested in public, and judged over decades. And here's the truth. People forget the numbers, but they remember your name. Another lesson that took me decades to understand. Freedom isn't more. It's less. Less envy, less noise, less dependence on approval. You don't gain peace by adding more. You gain it by removing what doesn't matter. When you stop needing so much, you stop being controlled. Because no one can manipulate a man who needs nothing. That's real power. You can't talk about wisdom without talking about loss. Because every smart investor I know earned their wisdom through pain. Failure, handled correctly, is tuition for wisdom. Most people never graduate because they refuse to fail honestly. They fight every loss like it's unfair, instead of asking, "What now?" But if you learn to lose well, you become unstoppable. Because loss is only fatal if it kills your perspective. Every storm ends. Every market recovers. Every pain fades. The lesson stays. The older I get, the less impressed I am by noise. When you're young, success looks loud. But real success moves quietly. The calm ones, the ones who don't chase spotlight or approval, they're usually the ones who own everything that matters. Real wealth is waking up peaceful, working with people you respect, and sleeping without regret. You can't measure that with money. But it's the only wealth that lasts. People ask me, what's the hardest part about building wealth? It's not the math. It's keeping your sanity while everyone else loses theirs. The world will test your calm, mock your patience, and reward your restraint too late to notice. But if you stay the course, your results will speak louder than any defense you could make. Time always reveals who was faking and who was compounding. At this age, I've learned something simple. The ultimate unfair advantage isn't money. It's clarity. The ability to stay rational when others can't. Because the world will always be unfair. But your response doesn't have to be. Unfairness isn't the enemy. It's your teacher. It forces you to grow stronger, calmer, wiser. And if you can see that, you'll stop fighting the world and start mastering yourself. So if you remember one thing from me today, remember this. You can't control luck, timing, or talent. But you can always control your temperament. Patience compounds. Discipline compounds. Character compounds. And peace of mind. That's the final dividend. Because the richest man alive is the one who sleeps well, thinks clearly, and wakes up with nothing left to prove. That's wealth. That's freedom. That's how you win. Quietly.